know you lazy guitar players that like it very small and also don't want to carry a lot. Carry. That was... We talked about this yesterday, Vanessa. Europe. Yes, the other song from Europe that people know. Where was I? Oh, yes, the Hughes and Kettner mini amps. So Vanessa is switching up there. Look, there's... What the... Vanessa... Ah, she switched to show that she's switching. I get it now. While I was pointing at the little amps up there, the other ones. That's why we're talking about the Hughes and Kettner. I call them mini H&Ks. They call them Spirit of. They always have to have, you know. Well, it's the Black Spirit 200 is an amp that they have, which we have prepared a camera for. There, the Black Spirit 200. I'm going to call this thing a transistor amp. See the thing in the middle that's glowing kind of weird orange, which they just put LEDs on? That's the Spirit Generator. Which is, it's a transistor thing. But they're saying there's fairy dust in there and leprechaun jizz and some other magical things. It is the best sounding transistor amp out there. It's still a transistor amp, but for certain settings, it's phenomenal. On other settings, it gets very dense, but that's also a Hughes and Kettner thing. So that's the big kahuna, the Black Spirit 200 with massive 200 watts of Class D power. Then they made a floor version of it, floorboard version, which I wasn't super impressed by because they missed the mark. They made it too big. They gave it loops, but no 9-volt out. They made it expression pedal switchable, but you still had to put this on the stage and wire it all up with your own power supply. And I think great idea, but really just next to amazing. But if you wanted that in a floorboard with a built-in foot switch, that's what you got in the Black Spirit 200 floor amp. But obviously, they had to go mini. I think what they should have done is just give us mini pedals with each channel. I know for a fact that that's what they're working on. They're just slowly milking the technology now. They have to. So before you get the pedals, I mean, I'm not saying I know it for a fact because I know it for a fact. I'm guessing for a fact. They have to work on that because that's what makes sense. Put those channels on a pedal board. Right now, you can't put them on a pedal board in the form of a mini amp. And now Vanessa can switch to it. Thank you. There it is. And look how tiny that damn thing is. This is my finger, and that's not a big-ass finger. That's a middle-ass finger. This thing is ultra-tiny, weighs literally nothing, like 3 grams or something. And they have 3 of them now. The Spirit of Vintage, Spirit of Rock, and Spirit of Metal in their individual videos for each. They're ultra-simple, one-channel amps. They don't even have a full tone stack. There's a master, 50 watts at 4 ohm. Don't get fooled, it's 50 watts at 4 ohm. Who has a 4 ohm cap? I don't know, I don't. At an 8 ohm cap, it's less. However, they do get ridiculously loud, and that means, yes, they are capable of surviving in a band. Sagging is the big thing that they brag with on the Black Spirit 200. For me, this is almost useless. I'd rather have bass and treble instead of a tone knob, but the sagging is the big thing they say they mastered in the with the Black Spirit tone generator, simulating the sag of a power amp. And that is when you're pushing the tubes and you're pushing the tubes and they're getting more and more compressed, less responsive, but a lot denser and a lot fatter. And that's what you can dial in here yourself. So, okay, why not? If you have 4 knobs, you have to make decisions. Tone, especially on the Spirit of Vintage, isn't just like high or high-end roll-off. It seems to put in more mids over here and more high-end here. So it's kind of a cool tone knob to dial in your tone. And then gain, guess what, is gain. And then there's input, which is where you input it. I have it behind these pedals right now. And then there's a phones out, which has a red box compensated speaker out simulation on it from the Tubemeister 18. It's not the top of the line speaker simulation that they have in the Black Spirit 200. Come on, they want to sell that thing. But for practicing with headphones, it's decent, and we have a cable on the table. Cable on the table right here. We're gonna test that. And on the back, you have a line out, which is not compensated, and that's great. You can actually put that in your Torpedo Cap M Plus or into any IR loader. You can run directly into your audio interface and then in the software apply an IR. That is very smart, not applying a speaker simulation to that line out. Aux in case you want to practice with something through the headphones, that's not stupid. power, and then the little AES thing, which means the thing will turn off if not played after a while, but you can turn that off. Then a speaker out for the 16 ohms. It says 25 watts at 8 ohms. That's how many watts you have. And then the 24 volt DC power supply, which is an external power supply, kind of like a laptop thing. It's a little bit bigger. It's actually as big as the amp, almost. Okay, and then we're gonna go through sounds with some vintagey guitars. I have to say, to start with, I was very impressed how this thing performed in the track that you heard at the beginning. It's one of my favorite songs I've ever written. I Have a Fever with my buddy Alex Fröser on vocals. And Vanessa and I had a blast recording that. Didn't we, Vanessa?
Absolutely.
Absolutely, she says. It's a great rock and roll kind of a song in the vein of The Who. And this amp performed extremely well. I can't imagine getting better results with my Morgan AC20 or Vintage Defender or... For the purpose of recording that song, that amp did everything that song needed. That's what I'm trying to say. I'm going speaker out into the Universal Audio aux with a 412 Creamback loaded cab. Okay, it's a €199, $249 amp. Would you run into an aux with that? No, you would run into a speaker, but that's the sound we're getting. And trust me, it does sound exactly like you would with the speaker. Here, clean. That's an American Pro 2 Strat by Le Fedeur. The cleans are, for me, the highlight of the Black Spirit series. It's as clean can go, while still being dynamic and not harsh. The cleans are amazing. So, from the sidekick here, I will put a little bit of delay and reverb on it and check out what this can do. Amazing cleans. As good as I want cleans to be. How can it handle a drive? Tubes react to drive pedals, they work with them. Let's see how that works as a pedal platform mini head. It immediately fattens it up. Well, it's got the fat bee. It better fattens it up. yes, it works rather well with the drive. So let's give it a little bit more gain. Now, at this stage, I would love to add delay and reverb to it. However, they did not give it an effects loop. Hughes and Kettner, there's space. I see it in the back. Don't tell me it's not possible. You omitted that, so I buy the big one. That's bullshit. I'm sorry. This is so good. And now I have an amazing crunch sound. Push it with an overdrive pedal, get amazing leads. Where's my effects loop? This is stupid. This is an omission that should not be there. This would be 100% recommendable, and you fucked it up. I'm sorry. That's stupid. Not giving an amp like this an effects loop is not working for your customer. It's trying to get money out of your customer in a not good way. It's like, yeah, we give you something, but not everything. Make it $50 more expensive. I have no problem with $250 for this amp with an effects loop, but at least I can use it like an amp. Right now, where are my effects? If I put a delay in front of that, that's not going to be nice. Oh, here we go. Because the delay gets compressed by the drive. It needs to be behind it. Why are you doing this, Hughes and Kettner? The Tubemeister 5 had the same thing. Please look at your customers and do what they need. You know what happens when you build products that the customer needs? They buy them! This is killer. This is really good. Okay, let's explore the tone. So if you want more mid-push and less of that sparkly H&K-ness, it's there to the left of the tone knob. Brilliant. We're gonna crank up the gain again. Actually, we're not. We're gonna go to the single cut. Actually, I'm not gonna call it a single cut. I'm gonna call this a Maybach Les Paul, and Gibson can suck it. Come and sue me. Come on. Come and sue me. Les Paul. This is a Les Paul. I love this Les Paul. Fucking Gibson. This is a kick-ass Les Paul for $2,000 where Gibson can't even touch that quality. Oh, and look, the G string is, well, just like on a Gibson, not so much in tune. Chords. Okay, so sagging. You should notice it in the response. Okay, I mean, seriously, the difference is minimal. It gets more compressed. Yes, you can hear the noise floor coming up as well. And it gets a little bit more dense and a little bit more fizzly, just like what you would expect from more sag on an amp. Is that something that's very desirable? I think it's desirable to a small percentage. How much more desirable would a bass knob be? More. How much more desirable would an effects loop be? Way more. If you have 4 knobs and you make one sag and make that a main feature of your amp, I think it's putting your eggs in the wrong basket. It's, again, not checking out, oh, what do people love about our products? The sag. I'm a pretty experienced guitar gear dude and musician and studio guy. The difference to me is minute. In a recording, who gives a flying rat's ass using Kettner? Who? Nobody. Fuck the Sagg knob. Give me an effects loop. So, I keep the sag to the left because I want my amp to be responsive. I don't really care about the fatness that you get because how much fatness do you really gain here? Let's do this again. You get a little bit of a mid push. Again, I can get that with the tone knob. You get a little bit more volume. Well, I can crank up the volume. You get some more compression. I can put a compressor in front of it. I don't know. It's not something that's a buy this because of the Sagg knob feature. Okay, moving on. We want to hear it with the headphone out, which is compensated. So this is what you could practice with. As soon as you plug it in, the speaker out is disconnected. So you can't do headphones and speaker out. Is it something you would want to record with? You know what, for a demo, for a quick idea, yes. But it has a line out, go into your audio interface, add software, either from, let's say, Lancaster Audio, their Pulse, or from the Forward Audio IR-Mageddon, the Fairmageddon. Get some IR loader software, put that on there, and then actually you can get the sounds we had before. So let's just check what kind of cleans we can get with that. That should be better. What do I think? Well, you heard a couple of things that I think. Independent of what I said about the effects loop, or the who needs a Sagg Knob, I think the Spirit of Vintage by Hughes and Kettner, from the Spirit of Something series, or it says the Spirit Nano series, what is it? Is it the Spirit of series, or the Nano series, or the Minis, or whatever, is probably the best mini amp on the market right now. Hands down. Is it a floorboard amp? Well, not really, because it's not a pedal board amp. It's an actual head, which I know is cute. I know you thought is cute to put on a little on a cab, and it looks really cool. But realistically, what we would have needed using Kettner is the pedal version. Now, if they had this as a pedal version, again, it is the best clean overdrive crunch amp I have heard in that format and in that price point. If I had under €200 to spend on an amp, this is the one I would get. It plays well with pedals, doesn't do high gain, but put the metals on in front of it and you're good. The sounds are really good. It has a line out which is not compensated, so you can put IRs behind it. It has a headphone out, which is, but you can practice with it. For recording, where you can put effects after in the recording, that's fine. As a pedal board amp, yes, but not when it's driving, because you can't put time-based effects in front of it. So the lack of an effects loop comes into play when you're using it with your pedals. But as a clean platform for your pedal board, holy crap, the sounds are great, the volume is there. It is from a renowned company, so it is good quality. Even independent of its flaws or design shortcomings, no effects loop and Sagg Knob, this is, I would say, easily the easiest recommendable amp in that price range. I do like the Terra Stamp from Orange. Pedal-shaped Hughes and Kettner. It's freaking pedal-shaped, and it's really small. But it is actually only one channel with two switchable levels. And no, does it have an effects loop? I don't even know. But it's really just, the idea of the Terra Stamp is Gib ihm, as we say in German. It's an orange, and it's drive, and that's it. And how clean can that get? Is it pedal-friendly? So Terra Stamp is the format that Hughes and Kettner should have done. This is the sound I would want if I'm in a pinch, or if I'm on the road, or if I go to a practice and I just don't want to take a big-ass amp. If I'm doing country, blues, pop, rock, Vanessa is playing in a, what is that? Neil Diamond cover band? That's the amp to get, people. Okay? AC/DC, that's the amp to get. All that stuff. I think it covers a lot. It's not expensive. It sounds great. Maybe at one point they're going to hear to the guitar players and actually do what the guitar players want, which is this thing in pedal form. Fuck the Sagg Knob, put effects loop in it, and all of a sudden you have the product that every single guitar player that owns a pedal board will literally have on their board. Use my board with my amp, all good. I use my whole setup, but my amp doesn't work. Plug it in there, continue the gig, done. I'm playing a gig in a small venue. Leave the amp at home. I have my H&K Spirit of Vintage pedal on the board. That's the thing every single guitar player would buy. Those $200 would be well spent. We're not there yet using Kettner. Maybe one day you'll listen. It's a good step. The amp's pretty damn cool. Links below, please use them. That really helps me. My affiliate links do make me money. So if you click on my Sweetwater or Thomann links, that does pay the bills. So please do it. And please follow me on Instagram and Facebook. That also helps me. Patreon, of course, helps me tremendously because you're literally paying me, which is good because then the dogs can eat. Thanks, Vanessa. Thanks, Vanessa, for listening. If you know what I mean. Animals at the end.
I got 29 years in my bag. The days wrote stories into my eyes. My inner child once more lost a butterfly wings the night my father died. Through the truth I crawl, to pieces I fall, and then leave the darkness from the skies. It's a fine line between the devil's home and